thank you, Sean Lovely, Worcester Police Officer Sean Lovely. Thank you so much. You never have a St. Patrick's Day celebration without Sean. And Sean had a tough week because, and so did everyone, we lost Lorraine Laurie this week. And just a little moment of silence for Lorraine. She was quite a special person. So on to our program today. Thank you to all our sponsors, Mass Advantage, who sponsored corned beef and cabbage lunch, Vibra Hospital, Lutheran, Rehab, Century Home Care, Life Care of Auburn, and Salmon Health. We had a very generous anonymous donor sponsored our beautiful centerpieces. Please visit our sponsors in the lobby, WRTA, Best of Times Travel. They are bringing back trips to the Worcester Senior Center, and Gary Rosen will give you some information about that afterwards. Blue Cross Blue Shield, and if you have not had your blood pressure taken by Dr. Janet Price, who is a part of the Department of Public Health, that would be a good idea to do. Please know that we received a special dispensation from the bishop allowing the Worcester Senior Center only, the Worcester Senior Center participants today to eat our delicious corned beef and cabbage catered by Elder Services of Worcester. And if you have noticed, we have a flyer in front of you with the ESWA Elder Services of Worcester 2024 Save the Lunch campaign. Please fill out the blank plate in front of you. We need to save this program. As you can see today, we're feeding almost 150 people. I have the pleasure of introducing Erin Zamaro, who is the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee Chair. And she has done an amazing job these last few years with the parade. And here she is, Erin Zamaro.
Good morning, and thank you everyone for coming out today. We had a fantastic parade, and I hope some of you were able to see it. If not in person, it will be rebroadcast on Friday and Sunday on Charter TV3 at 8 p.m. We're here. We do have a few of our parade committee members here in attendance. If you would wave. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And next, this is State Representative Dan Donahue.
Thank you. Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. How we doing? Erin go bra, which I love to say on St. Patrick's Day, but just want to thank Erin, and let's give a big round of applause to the parade committee for all the work they do. You know, I always say people this time of year are like, oh, what are you going to do on St. Patrick's Day? It's on March 17th. I'm like, St. Patrick's Day in Worcester, I feel like, is a months-long celebration. And a lot of that is due to the incredible work the parade committee does, starting with the Grand Marshal's dinner in January all the way through. So it's like a season. But they did a great work. And this year, the parade was last Sunday, and it was probably the best weather I remember in a long time. The St. Patrick's Day parade in Worcester, that's right, it always seems like it's either too cold or it's too hot or it's raining or it's not. And we had the weather shined on us that day, which was really, really wonderful. And it's always wonderful to be here at the Senior Center for this special event. The Senior Center is obviously very special if the bishop is given a dispensation for corned beef and cabbage. That is great news. That is wonderful. That's the best news I've heard in a while since I had like a bishop's day at St. John's when we get the day off. But it's wonderful to see. And I just want to, if you give me 1 second to talk about politics, on your seats, I think Suki had pointed out to save the lunch. That is super important. There is a move to cut back on some of the great work that Elder Services does and the Meals on Wheels program does. And we know, I don't have to tell this room, how vitally important those programs are. So please make your voice heard. Make sure that we have the ammunition we need at the State House to fight for programs like that. So thank you for doing that. But it's my privilege to be here to introduce the Grand Marshal of this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade. And it's someone that's not a stranger to many of you, Rich Smalley, who's here. And he is really just truly a great Worcester guy, native of Worcester, someone who's given back to this community in so many different ways. And I was thrilled when the parade committee said that he was going to be our Grand Marshal this year. I know he's been involved with the parade committee for decades now, and normally when you see him at the parade, he's there beforehand, setting everything up, directing everybody where to go, because to most parade goers, you get to see the parade all organized, but I can tell you it's a little bit of a mess getting everybody in the right place at the beginning, and the parade committee does a great job with that. And Rich, I get to know him through the Vernon Hill Post, right down the street here on Providence, where he's been very active over the years. And he does a lot of work raising money for cancer research over the years, which has been really incredible, organizing motorcycle rides and really making sure we give back to the community. So always hand it out to the parade committee to make sure that we have really someone who embodies giving back to their community, service to their community, and making sure that we keep Worcester the wonderful, strong place it is. So please, a big round of applause for our Grand Marshal of the 2024 St. Patrick's Day Parade. Come on, Rich.
Thank you, Dan. Great intro there. Thank you all for coming today. Great day here. See everybody. Top of the morning to everyone. Get this right. I'm honored to be here today as your guest speaker and as a recipient of the Grand Marshal Award for the Worcester St. Patrick's Parade 2024. I was born in Greendale, Burncoat area of Worcester, son of Harold and Catherine Smalley. Was raised in a family of 9 children. My father was a high school math teacher who became a small business owner. My mother was a nurse, getting her education at City Hospital right here in Worcester. Back in the day, when you didn't earn you earned your degree by working there. Both served in the Army in World War II. My father was stationed in Germany, and my mother was an Army nurse on the islands of Guam, Iwo Jima, and she was sent to the island of Tiani and was there when Enola Gay left for Hiroshima. My father was an active organizer of the annual Emerald Club dinner, which raised funds for children with Down syndrome for the Mercy Center. I attended Thorndike Road School through 6th grade. I attended Worcester Academy, grades 7 through 12, graduating in 1977. I attended Nichols College in Dudley, Mass, and Northwood Institute in Milford, Michigan. I worked in the family's business, Smalley Toyota, for many years. Then following my father's footsteps, I ventured off on my own and became a small business owner, operator of numerous full-service gasoline stations and repair stations here in the city of Worcester, while simultaneously starting a single truck towing company, which grew to become one of the largest towing and most successful tow companies in Massachusetts and New England, Smalley's Green and White Towing. Currently, I own Smalley Auto and Fortune Auto Transport, another successful business in automobile transportation, specializing in automobile dealership and auction transportation. Due to my parents' military service, I felt it was important to give back to the veterans and be actively involved in many causes that support the veteran community at both local and state level. One of the founders of the Vernon Hill Sons of the American Legion, where I served as its first commander. I also served as state of Massachusetts Detachment Sergeant of Arms. I dedicated much of my volunteering time to the Vernon Hill Legion Post 435. Currently, I serve as the Post 435's grounds and housing chairman, as well as hall and lounge manager. 3 years ago, I was instrumental in forming the Vernon Hill American Legion Riders, Chapter 435, serving where I currently am the Riders Director. One of the key fundraising events the American Legion Riders are actively involved in is its Lego Ride for Kids with Cancer, which benefits UMass Children's Cancer Center, Ryan, me, and Sherry's house, and Notre Dame Petty Pals. This is a very important cause to me. It touches these kids that are out there, don't know what's going on when they get cancer, especially the young kids. They just have no clue. And this ride and the Lego toys, which I never realized how important it was to these kids, gets their minds off of their cancer and their disease, which is a terrible disease. Some of these kids are permanently in the hospital. That's why we give to so many of them. Some of them at end of life, but these toys mean so much to them. We do a ride through the campus of UMass, and the kids that can come outside, wave. It's a joy for them to see us. To see their faces is amazing. Sadly, some of the kids can't come out, and they're up in the windows watching us, but they all clap and cheer to the best of their ability. It's truly an amazing cause. We've raised over $30,000 in the short period we've done this to buy Lego toys for kids, and every year the hospital and Notre Dame and Sherry's house are glad we come back because we've not run out of these Lego toys. The cost of these toys is, when we were kids, it was probably $2 for a box for them. Today it's $30, $40, $50, $100, $200 for some of these toys. It can be for, and we get them from ages 1 to 21 to help these kids, young kids, enjoy life and get their minds off of what they're going through. Currently, as the Sons of Mean, I'm still with the Legion Ways and Means chairperson and still serve as the Legion chaplain. We also do many fundraisers for our veterans. This year we're doing a big one for, there's so much of it going on with the veterans and first responders, suicide prevention. We're having a big ride May 11th. It's a blessing of the bikes. Father Jonathan from St. Bernard's, we give to them their community program there for the kids, brings kids to school, but also this year for our first responders and our veterans, who without them, none of us would be here today, sitting in this room, enjoying the freedoms we have. We hope to raise close to 20 or 30,000 for them as well this year, just in that one ride alone. And again, our Lego ride for kids with cancer will be August 11th. You can donate online to any of these rides or donate to them if you choose to do so. But these are very important things to me to give back to the veterans, give back to the community. I come from a long line of Irish immigrants. Well, much is not known about my father's Irish ancestry. What is known is that my grandfather was a detective in the Worcester Police Department. He worked the downtown beat of the Waldo Street Station and then worked for the City Law Department. Well, my grandparents gave their son John the middle name Waldo in honor of his father's work at the Waldo Station. I don't know if I'd like that middle name, but where's Waldo? My great-grandparents and their children were all Worcester natives. On my mother's side, my great-grandparents immigrated to America from County Kerry in the late 1850s or early 1860s. It was not known from what town or city in Kerry they came. They landed in New York and then moved to Waterbury, Connecticut. Rumor has it, it is said the Kerrymen are difficult people. Someone once asked the Kerrymen, aren't all Irishmen equal? In which the Kerryman replied that it would be a damn poor Kerryman that was not superior to his equals. My great-grandmother's family came from County Cork in the 1850s. My great-grandmother sailed to America in a steamship and waited for her husband to arrive on a sailing vessel. They lived in New York City, which at that time only extended to Central Park. My great-grandmother's parents joined up with a British company which recruited English and Irish immigrants to colonize an area in Brazil and Santa Catarina province known as Dom Pedro Estates. My great-grandmother, Margaret O'Brien, was born in Brazil on September 1, 1868. Margaret was given a grant of 300 acres of land, being the first child from the United States born in that region. The land was given to her by Emperor Dom Pedro II. conditions in that area were unbelievably bad, with great floods, and many wanted to return to New York. My great-great-grandmother, Ellen, was the only one who could read and write, so she was chosen to represent the people and negotiate the return to New York. In 1883, my great-grandmother walked across the Brooklyn Bridge the day it was opened. That was 141 years ago. And as an FYI, it was not for sale then and still not today. Speaking of bridges, my great-great-uncle Jeremiah owned property under what is now 59th Street Bridge and sold his property to accommodate the building of the bridge. And my great-great-grandfather was the night watchman on the Highgate Bridge over the North River. I am named after my great-grandfather Richard Hogan, who was a union organizer, a silversmith at Tiffany's, and International Silver. He also worked in the clock factories, which lends no explanation as to why my family is always late for any event we go to. Amazingly, I was early today. I think I would have got scolded by Aaron and company. Here is some history on St. Patrick's Day, which many of you may not know. On March 17, 1631, the Catholic Church established a feast honoring St. Patrick, a religious celebration for the patron saint of Ireland. On March 17, 1737, in Boston, Irish immigrants integrated the event to show solidarity in their new home, honor their birthplace, and pay respect to St. Patrick. In 1762, the first St. Patrick's Day parade in the world was recorded in New York City, 25 years after Boston. And what about Ireland? When did they have their first parade? Anybody guess? 1903, 166 years after Boston. St. Patrick's Day parade became an official public holiday in Ireland and marked the first St. Patrick's Day parade in that country. Question for you. Does anyone know where the first parade in Ireland was held? Guesses? Come on, parade committee. Somebody there has to know. None of you? No? Think Crystal. Waterford, Ireland was the first place. 28 years later, in 1931, the first official state parade was held in Dublin. That reminds me of a quick joke here. Do you know how to tell if an Irishman is having a good time? Come on, parade committee, you guys should know that. He's doubling over. Now comes Worcester. The first Worcester County St. Patrick's Day Parade was held in 1980, 243 years after Boston. The idea to have our own parade was born from recognizing that having a local celebration would be the best way to honor our Irish-American community. Wanting to actively honor my Irish heritage, for over 40 years I have dedicated myself to the success of the annual Worcester County St. Patrick's Parade, starting just working on St. Patrick's Day, lining up floats, etc., to now being an active part of the committee over the last 20 years. The parade committee has given me many accolades from the, I lost myself here. Sorry about this. The parade committee for my commitment to the Irish community. These include the Good Neighbor Award, the Judy Wilkinson Award for my contributions to the behind-the-scenes parade work, and of course, this great honor of being Grand Marshal. Thank you all for your time today. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Let's enjoy the meal when it comes out.
May I have your attention, please? We've got some important announcements here, so I know everyone wants to listen. Today, I'm Gary O'Rosen, and I wish you all a happy St. Patrick's Day weekend. I didn't need the bishop to tell me today that I could eat corned beef, but I'm glad he did it for others. That was very nice, very much appreciated. First of all, let's thank Suki Lapin. She is in charge of today. This is a terrific event. And Suki, every holiday, we celebrate every holiday basically here, right? At least once a month anyway. Suki does a great job, from the decorations to the tables to the menu to the fine sponsors we always get. So Suki, thank you for all you do. Thank you to the staff of the Senior Center for all that they do. The Worcester Senior Center is so valuable to our community. It promotes health, and it actually saves lives, because many folks who come here almost on a daily basis would be home in their kitchen watching the view because their friends are gone, their relatives are gone, they'd be lonely and so on. This is a great place for seniors, and spread the word. And I hope, since I represent the Friends of the Worcester Senior Center, whose mission is to raise supplemental funds for the Worcester Senior Center, I hope you'll all join the Friends of the Worcester Senior Center. It's $20 a year. We mail the scoop right to your home. You can see all the activities in the scoop. So much going on here. What a great place. I want to thank today Erin Zamaro, St. Patrick's Day Committee Chair. Erin has done a great job organizing the parade. If you haven't seen this wonderful parade, turn on your Charter Spectrum TV that you probably pay too much for, right? We all do. Turn that on. Get your money's worth at least by watching the parade. I think it's Friday and Sunday. State Rep Dan Donahue cares so much about the Worcester Senior Center. Just terrific for this whole community. Dan, thank you for all your support of the Worcester Senior Center. Dan's great. Richard Smalley, Grand Marshal of this year's parade. He goes down now in history with so many previous Grand Marshals who have done so much for the Irish community, have done so much for the Worcester community. So Richard Smalley, thank you for being here today. Now, the Friends of the Worcester Senior Center has kind of fallen on tough times since the advent of COVID, of the pandemic. We lost our one paid staff member. Remember Betty Knight, okay? Betty left the Friends, and we haven't been able to replace Betty. The best we could do is me, right? Betty was a professional bookkeeper. I'm closer to a bookie, right? Not a bookkeeper. But in any case, we're trying to keep Friends going. We need your support. And one thing we're doing, we're bringing back trips. Betty Knight ran great trips for years. She was terrific. And then the trips stopped, and I know some of you told me today, bring back bingo. That stopped. You know, the pandemic caused a lot of damage to businesses, to nonprofits, places like the Friends and so on. So we're doing our best to come back, and we will come back, and we'll come back bigger and better than ever. But we're now trying to get some trips, okay? We have some good trips coming up. We have the Best of Times travel service, which is going to run the trips for us. I'm just a volunteer. We have Alice in the office. You know Alice in the office. She's a longtime volunteer. We don't even have a paid staff member, okay, which is one good thing because we're not raising the money we used to. And that's what we want to do, get back to those glory days of the Friends. But the Best of Times travel service has run trips for, I think, at least 50 years, and they've run trips with maybe up to 100 senior centers. It's a little slow getting started here because Friends used to run our own trips. Now we've brought in an excellent agency to run the trips for us. They're a little different, their trips. We don't go to Foxwoods any longer, okay? Foxwoods used to, before the pandemic, used to give you, I don't know, free buffet, right? Free play, whatever they gave you. They don't do that any longer. So we could run that, but we'd have to probably charge more. And again, it's not the Friends staff, we're all volunteers that are running the trips. It's the Best of Times Travel. So I want to introduce Kim Gibson. She's from the Best of Times Travel. She can answer all your questions. These trips are different, I agree. They may be better, though. That's the thing. Difference isn't bad. These probably are better than the trips we used to run. And if we don't take you to Foxwoods, you're going to save a lot of money. We all know that, right? Right. Not too many people come home from Foxwoods with extra money in their pocket, okay? Maybe 2%. What about the 98%? We all know what that's like. So let me introduce Kim Gibson from Best of Times Travel, and she can tell you a little bit about the trips that are coming up. Kim? Plenty of time.
I'm short. Thank you all for letting me speak to you. I won't take too much of your time because I hope you all know that we will be here next week telling you a lot of information about all of the trips we'll be offering during this year and some even for 2025. Gary is right. We have been around for the last 50 years providing wonderful experiences for our seniors. We specialize in senior travel, so we pay attention to what you're all interested in, and we pay attention to the types of trips that you all would want to take versus, if you're a 25-year-old and want to, go crazy and wild. You can go a little bit wild, but not crazy wild. So we have 3 different types of trips that we specialize in. The first one, in our bread and butter, is called a luncheon show. I was talking to a lot of you out in the lobby about these. They are an amazing escape for a day. We have them once a month. We have them at Lake Pearl, which is in Rentham. And they're tribute shows to tribute bands that will bring back nostalgia from your childhood. We have Beach Boys coming up. We have Ricky Nelson coming up. Ricky Nelson's sons are actually doing the Ricky Nelson show, and they were a big band in the 80s that were super popular and crazy. They'll be singing all of their dad's songs and peppering some cool information about growing up with their dad. That is a show absolutely not to miss. The Beach Boys is awesome as well. They sound and look just like the Beach Boys. That's coming up next month. Just so you're all aware, if you have 10 or more people from your senior center sign up for any of these trips, we pick you up at the senior center, we drop you back off at the senior center. So it's really important that if you're interested in doing something like this, grab a friend or two. It makes it so much easier for you to be able to be picked up here versus having to go to a nearer, another senior center to be picked up. It's possible, but it's way better to be picked up here. We have day trips, things like cruises on the Isles of Shoals or the Gloucester Harbor Cruise or the Spirit of Boston. We also have overnights. Some of them are a couple of overnights, and then some of them are bigger trips. I heard a lot of people get very excited about our Penn Dutch trip that's coming up. I will absolutely bring a lot of information about that next week. And I will also have a list of all of the trips on one piece of paper. This was a suggestion that I was told out there, so that you can kind of look and see what's going on and look them up on your own. I will be here for quite a while, so if anybody has any questions about anything, please let me know. And then there's also Kathy Clifford is usually here. She wasn't able to make it today. I have her contact information if you have questions that are not today but are in the future. So thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for working with us at Best of Times Travel. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at one of these trips. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Now, I'd like to wrap it up, but I guess there's a little delay between now and the meal. Okay, so I can wrap up. The band is here. Thank you all for your participation today, for your attention, okay? And think about the friends. We need your support. $20 a year. There's forms all around here. They're in every month of this scoop. We'd love to have you join and work with us to raise money to give to the Worcester Senior Center. That's our mission. The Worcester Senior Center, like all departments, Elder Services in Worcester, Police Department, Fire Department, Public Health, they're all education schools, they're all supported by the City of Worcester taxpayers. The taxpayers pay most of the freight here at the Worcester Senior Center, but we raise extra money, supplemental money, so we need your help. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the meal, and happy St. Patrick's Day weekend.